All right. Welcome, everyone. Where's my video? All right. Today we're going to talk about topic 1.2, the elements of life. So the most important elements we had said from topic 1.1 was the CHON, carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, and nitrogen. So today we're going to talk more about carbon and nitrogen, as well as a little bit about phosphorus, one of our trace elements that's also important. So here we have carbon. Carbon is used to build biological molecules such as our carbohydrates, lipids, proteins, and nucleic acids. Carbon is very important. It's used as a storage compound as well as cell formation in all of our molecules. Part of the reason we find carbon everywhere is that it's a highly versatile molecule. It has four valence electrons, which means it can form up to 4 different covalent bonds with lots of different things, including itself. And in those bonds, it can form single, double, and triple covalent bonds. When it comes to our organic molecules, they're all going to have some form of carbon skeleton. It could be a single carbon skeleton. Where did my tools go? Oops, I did not mean to go backwards. All right, it could be a single carbon chain like we see here with butane, or it could be branched like we have here with isobutane. Butane and isobutane are what we refer to as isomers. They're molecules with the same molecular formula, C4H10, but different shapes, which means they're going to have different biological functions. Carbons can also form ring structures. If you think about glucose is one that has a ring structure to it. And so all these different shapes can lead, and isomers lead to diversity. We have some other isomers down here at the bottom. These are of butene. Butene has a double bond between carbons. Butene is going to be C4H8 due to this double bond. And here we see 2 different isomers. In this case, it's where these methyl groups are in relation to each other. In one, they're on the same side. In the other, they are on opposite sides. Again, this will give us a different shape, and shape equals function. Both butane and butene, our 2 examples here, are hydrocarbons. A hydrocarbon is going to be a molecule that's a combination of hydrogen and carbon. These are typically nonpolar, very stable, and usually gases at room temperature. Next, let's move on to nitrogen. So nitrogen we're going to find in amino groups here on our functional table. Here we go. Here's my amino group. That's what I was trying to get to work. There's amino group is going to be found both in our proteins and our nucleic acids. And then phosphorus here in our phosphate group, very important both in nucleic acids but also in certain lipids. The phospholipids that we'll talk a lot about when we get to cells and cell membrane. Phosphate's also important in ATP, so when we get to energy transfer, we'll talk a lot more about phosphate groups and moving around. Other functional groups that can help give us some clues about molecules, we have the hydroxyl group, which is an OH group. This R here, and that we see on many of our pictures, all of them in fact, refer to basically the rest of the molecule. So all of these would be attached to some sort of carbon skeleton, so a chain of molecules. And these functional groups are what's going to be involved in the chemical reactions. These are usually going to be found towards the end of a carbon molecule. So we've got the hydroxyl group, very frequent proton donor, that hydrogen can fall off. Here we have a carbonyl group, which here's a better picture of it. Carbon double bonded to an oxygen and then branches out. Aldehydes, it's going to have a hydrogen in the rest of the chain. A ketone, it's going to be 2 R groups, so 2 carbon chains. Carboxyl group, which is one of the 2 functional groups in amino acids. We've got a carbon double bonded with a hydroxyl. Here is our amine group. Some amino acids have this sulfhydryl group to them. This is going to be important in some of our protein structures. That sulfur can form bonds between each other. So if we've got two of these groups at opposite ends, they can form an attraction like a hydrogen bond. Then we have our phosphates, and lastly, I gotta quit moving so we can see it, the methyl group down at the bottom, found in many organic molecules, particularly lipids, giving them their non-polar attributes, being hydrophobic. All right. Be sure to email if you have any questions.